Stop these branding mistakes on YouTube if you want to grow your channel as quickly as possible. I see this happen with a lot of channels, and it keeps their channels in the mud. And I've even seen it take channels that were doing well and then they start going downhill. But on the flip side, I've seen channels that broke out of doing these things and their channels have absolutely exploded. So the first thing is your thumbnail design. Now, if you are not testing your thumbnail design, you are missing out. I'm gonna have a link in the description down below. That is for a tool called TubeBuddy, which you'll wanna get the higher level of it. And that will allow you to A/B split test your thumbnails to see which version does better. So you can try 2 different designs and see what does better. Because maybe you've got a certain thumbnail design that you've been rolling with for quite some time and your click-through rate is actually terrible. And click-through rate is one of the biggest indicators to YouTube if your video is good. And if the click-through rate is low, you're not gonna get a lot of views on your videos, end of story. But if you get that click-through rate up, YouTube's gonna show your video more in search, suggested, the home feed, and now your channel can explode. So maybe if you've decided like, this is gonna be my thumbnail design, this is what I want my brand to look like, and the click-through rate's not doing good, maybe you need to rethink that and see how you can shuffle things around and change it a little bit. The other big mistake I see on the branding side of things with thumbnails is sticking too rigidly to one exact way of making your thumbnails. And what I mean by this is you've got your logo down in the corner, you've got an exact font you use every time, you've got an exact color you use, and then it's always you in the picture looking at the text, making the same face. That's gonna get boring for your subscribers and every video is gonna seem exactly the same, and mentally they're gonna start to tune your videos out. Instead, what I recommend you do is keep branding in the majority of your thumbnails. I think from time to time, it's great, like maybe every 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5 videos to throw something completely different and just throws branding out the window to shake things up. But besides that, don't stick rigidly to all those things I just gave you. I would maybe just have one. Either you have your logo in the bottom corner, or you have a certain font you use, or a certain background design, or maybe just having your face could be the one branding thing you need, or a certain font. I think you really only need 1 or 2 of those things to be consistent, and that will be enough for people to quickly recognize that it's you and it's your content and keep them coming back and being able to recognize the brand, but at the same time, giving you more freedom to change things in your thumbnails so they look different and intriguing and people don't get bored with everything you're putting out. Second mistake, sticking with the exact same style of actual videos, right? So if I did every single thing in front of this background, after a while, you might get a little bored. So I'm gonna switch some things up with the background. Maybe you haven't noticed, but I move stuff around from video to video. Sometimes I film outside so I can get a different scenery for you guys and switch things up, and it's just good for me to keep things fresh. And from time to time, maybe I'll do some more screen capture type videos. Now, I would recommend you try to keep a certain element of your videos the same. Like most of mine, it's direct to camera. And besides that, you know, what's going on behind me, I usually try to have certain things that stay similar, but I'm gonna give myself some room to change things up, just like I do with the thumbnails. So yeah, there's that consistency in that branding and those things you come to associate with the videos, but at the end of the day, one thing is always in the videos, and that's either my face or my voice, right? That alone is enough of a branding element. I think having some of the stuff behind, yeah, it can be nice, but don't get yourself stuck into having, I gotta have the same background in every video forever, or I always do my videos with pictures and voiceover and I gotta do it that way forever. Shake things up from time to time. Your audience, I think, will enjoy that and you will enjoy it as well. With that being said, keep in mind your audience retention and click-through rates, right? If maybe you shifted gears and did a 180 on the way you present your videos or the background, and maybe, you know, retention starts going down or click-through rate starts going down, you wanna keep an eye on that. So what I recommend you do is, again, have a certain level of consistency and then change things from time to time to test things out and see what works. And maybe you'll come across something that does well. Or maybe it's something you could kind of change gradually, like I do with the background, right? It's the overall same background, and I'll just move 1 or 2 things or put a few different lights in the background just to add a little bit of something different. And then little by little, eventually it'll become something dramatically different, but that'll be a gradual process that my audience can come along with on the ride, and the branding can still be there overall. The next 2 things kind of go hand in hand. The first is sticking to a slogan or a mission. Here's why that could be a problem if you're a newer YouTuber. Let's say you're like, okay, this is what I want my videos to be about, this is my mission, this is the slogan I'm gonna put in my videos, all this stuff, right? And things aren't getting traction. You're putting out videos over and over and over again and just nothing seems to be working. And you're just like, this is what my slogan is, this is what I'm gonna stick with. That's a problem because it's not working. Consistency is always always key. I always say, you know, put one video a week out for a year and you will see results. Absolutely. But if you're doing the exact same thing or really narrow on your channel before like anything really clicks or hits, then you might be kind of keeping yourself limited to something that's doomed to fail. So I would recommend, if you have a newer channel, try different formats, try different slogans, try a different mission, because it's through that experimentation and trying a little bit different things. I'm not saying to go all over the place and doing cooking and sneaker reviews and tennis lessons and all that, right? You want to have something somewhat defined, but within that, being willing to try different formats and styles. And that's the second thing, is don't be limiting yourself to the formats, the styles, the backgrounds, the presentation, the lighting, the logo, the everything. I mean, you should have a certain idea of what overall it is that you're looking to achieve and what you want to do on your channel and the audience you'd like to serve. But try some different things within that and mixing things up when your channel is new to see what clicks with your audience. The more you do that, you're gonna start to say, okay, this is the format style that seems to work well. This is the thumbnail that gets better click-through rate. This is the presentation and scripting style and filming and editing style that gets my audience watching all the way to the end more often. And most importantly, this is exactly what my audience comes to my channel for, right? Whatever that mission is, whatever those topics are, you can start to figure that out the more you play around with different content ideas, get feedback from your subscribers and viewers, and get the conversation going. And you can really start to narrow that down more from that. Because if you're already deciding what your channel is gonna be about and you haven't got that feedback from the audience, it's not gonna work out as good, because YouTube is an audience-driven platform. So there's gotta be sort of that meeting in the middle, right? You don't wanna make videos that are just for the audience and you hate making, but at the same time, you don't wanna make videos just that you love making and nobody wants to see. You gotta find that middle ground. And as far as trying different things and keeping things fun and new and figuring out what's gonna click with your audience, I'll have a video pinned to the top comment that'll show you how to do that. It's actually a video for people that maybe they're not having fun with YouTube anymore, but it's actually also very helpful for this situation to keep new, fresh ideas going and finding your voice, your style, and what's gonna click best with the audience. If this video helped, subscribe and click the bell icon, and I will see you in that video next.